To be made holy or to set apart means to be open. To be
Whoa.
made common is to be closed. That opening is what allows us to receive, quote unquote, divine inspiration when we allow our avatar, our vessel, to remain open. And that's what that setting apart is all about. This is likening to the bride getting ready. And I'm using some of this vernacular because I know, having some Christian roots, this will probably help anchor this a little bit, maybe bring something open a little bit more. And so the bride has to make herself ready in order to get married. We talk about the wedding feast of the Lamb, but that means there's a wedding. So there's a change in stature that happens several times. And this, we're talking about the true essence of who we are. We are not discussing what this flesh looks like. I am not talking about the egoic avatar. I'm not talking about the flesh suit. I'm talking about the essence of who we are, the core essence of who we are. We got blown out into a couple pieces. We're called a triune being for a reason. So we have a higher self, we have a lower self, and then we have the inner man. So we're multidimensional, and we got blown out. It's literally the letter Aleph that got blown out into pieces. So when the bride is getting herself ready, this is taking the inner child, the lower self, and getting her, and I'm saying this specifically because it's the feminine energy, is getting her ready so that she can then accept a proposal from the higher self, which is the masculine energy. So she can get ready for the proposal. Then when the proposal happens, the two of them are in the posture of both getting ready. They're both getting ready to join in union. When the child has agreed for the proposal, she becomes the bride. She's a child until the bride, meaning I am now responsible for all my actions. She can now enter into a covenant. She can't enter into it until then. She can only enter into the covenant, which is for her protection. The groom doesn't need the protection. The groom is the higher self, already perfected. There's no shadow there. It's waiting for the lower self, the shadow, the ego, to turn so the two of them can join. So she becomes bride when she agrees to the wedding contract, aka the ketubah, aka the covenant. I'm agreeing to this, and I will walk in this. And then she walks in it, and she gets herself ready to get married. In other words, I'm not going to talk to a 6-year-old about something that a 16-year-old is going to learn. They don't need to be knowing about it when they're 6. They have no reference for it. But at 16, well, and maybe in this case, when puberty hits, if we were actually doing this in the real life scenario at the age of 12, or maybe even a little earlier than that, there are certain things that you would begin talking about. And I'm not talking about just sex. I'm talking about the inner reality of what the inside of us is doing. Because the outside will worry about itself. It's in here. So when she makes herself ready, getting ready to get married, that is when all of the inner work starts happening. All of the inner work in order to get ready for intimate communion with the higher self. Higher self and lower self cannot join until the ego, the shadow, is turned of all the I am nots. So it's ready for union with the higher self and the lower self. I'm not resisting. Because resistance means that I am being stubborn and I'm being prideful and arrogant, which is usually just fear-based. That's all it is. It's coming from fear, and it's coming from the ego. It's like, you duck the head to go through the door because you are not resisting, but the ego does this. No, I won't go through the freaking door. Don't try to tell me what to do. Don't tell me where to go. Don't tell me what to say, what to wear. You can see how well that went for me in the church. Rebellion. So all of that turning is that place when we become the bride is when we start doing the inner work so that we can join in union and have the wedding take place. When the wedding takes place and the higher self and the lower self unify together in the Ta, in the sacred chamber of the heart, you are now unified as one.
Amazing.
Now you are Anana. Because what happens is that the ego, that was two parts, a higher self and a lower self, simply bow out of the way because they realized that they were really not separated. They were really the same in one, the one and the same entity, and then they merge and they become a new creation, Anana. They become Anana. Anana is two words. When you see it in the writings, it's Ana and Ana. And when they unify, when you say it, it becomes Anana. Now, the vessel is completely open all the time because now it's holy, and holy means to be healed and to be whole as if never separated or never broken. Be healed and whole as I am healed and whole. There's no perfect. Perfect is a construct of the ego, and you will never reach perfection. That word should have been translated as maturation. Be mature as I'm mature. Doesn't mean perfect. There is no perfection. Well, technically, you are already perfect. We just think that perfection is something that we are not, and we try to get there.
That's good.
You're already there. You already are there.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it.